Hello everyone. Today on Kryptonized, I am going to talk about security tokens. I've had a lot of guests on recently that are promoting their security token or wanted to talk about how you tokenize assets. Well, this is how you do it. But we're not going to talk about tokenization of just any asset. This is tokenization of a private company, and I'm going to call this company Space T. I would love to see SpaceX go and do a security token offering. I just don't know if he's going to do any kind of public offering. He claims he might in the future, but there's no plans to. So let's call this company Space T. Maybe it's a smaller subsidiary, not subsidiary, but a smaller supplier to SpaceX. Okay, what is a security token? Well, most of you that watch this program know what tokens are. You know, cryptocurrency, usually they're utility tokens, and utility tokens have a utility value, meaning they're doing something like airline miles, where it's related to something that provides a benefit to you. A security token represents something that you're investing in that pays dividends or money, or there's an expectation of a future return. But just like cryptocurrencies, security tokens, really the sky's the limit. You could really do anything with them as long as it could be programmed on the blockchain via a smart contract. That's what I love about these things. And by the way, they're totally legal. You're not going to have Gary Gensler or anyone at the SEC breathing down your neck as long as you follow a process, a Reg D, a Reg A, a Reg S. All of these things are already codified in the legal system, so you're not going to get in trouble with it. Okay, so follow me along on this little scenario. Space T, small company, let's say they're 40, 50 people. They generate 5, 10 million, let's say $10 million a year, and they want to raise additional capital. And they don't want to do it traditionally. Maybe they want to tokenize their company, just the equity, or maybe the revenues or future profits if they're not profitable, because you could do anything with security tokens, right? Just like you can with cryptocurrency. So let's say they decided we're not going to go public, we're too small. What can we do to raise more money? Well, they can tokenize their equity in the company. And how do you do that? Pretty simply. First, you come up with a valuation, and then you look at the cap table, and you take all of that information, and just like you would a stock, you tokenize the cap table, and then you have a remainder for equity that you're going to sell via security tokens to raise additional money. And security tokens, like I said before, are just like crypto. You could program them to do anything. So in our example, I want to provide a way for you to get paid as a security token holder for profits. So every time there's profits for the company, the smart contract executes a payment automatically to all the token holders, to all their wallets. So the company's not having to write checks, or they're not having to do some of these things a more traditional way. And you can also just say, hey, we'll give you more security tokens. The sky's the limit, whatever that you want to do. So once that's in place, and this is something a company like we do the soup to nuts, but you can do parts of what I'm talking about. Once you do that, then you have to find a security token exchange to list on. And there are a bunch of them. And we would help you select which one to go on. But let's just say we're going to use INX. We just recently talked about INX. I like INX because you can also trade crypto there, so you get some crossover. It's not just a security token exchange, but there's many others. I'm not picking one here for those of you from the exchanges that are watching this. But let's just say, for sake of argument, it's INX. Then, once it's listed there, that's really the only place it can be traded. And this is the criticism I have of some of these things. You know, like the stock market, there's a couple of markets here in the US that you could trade on. It's pretty easy to get set up with a brokerage or just directly. Security tokens, you have to sign up with that entity, that exchange, or there's no way to trade it. Now, there is some technology that's coming out where you'll be able to trade virtually on any exchange automatically, but right now you've got to be on that particular platform. I think all security tokens should also register with Uniswap. Uniswap's a decentralized exchange that anyone can use. There's really no parameters. As long as you provide some liquidity on Uniswap, you can list your security token there as well. Okay, and we talked about Space T. We talked about how they're going to distribute their profits to token holders. And let's say at $10 million, they're breaking even. But next year, they expect to double, go from 10 to 20 million, and they expect to be able to distribute $1 million out of that 20. Now, how does that work? Well, depending on how many security tokens you have, those tokens issue the, if it's on the Ethereum blockchain or if it's on, whatever blockchain it's on, it would issue the crypto that you've designated. And again, we help you with that kind of thing. So $1 million worth of Ethereum in this case is distributed automatically to token holders on the blockchain. You don't have to do anything but tell the smart contract to execute. Pretty simple. And you could publish this information. You could not publish it. I would err on the side of being very transparent, but at this point, you're just only having to talk to the token holders about what's going on and some of the parameters around providing information, financial information. It just depends on what offering that you've chosen during the setup, but it's not as onerous as taking a company public. And by the way, you can take a company public concurrently or later and still have security tokens and stock. There are ways of doing that. So just because you turn your company equity into a security token does not mean later that you can't turn or you can't go public and issue stock. All right, so let's talk about the benefits of security, turning your assets in your company into a security token. When I say assets, I mean the whole company, the value of the company. So first of all, obviously there's going to be increased liquidity. If you need to raise funds or you have token holders like VCs that have come in and they want to cash out, obviously a very easy way to do that before you have to wait to go public on NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange, which is very onerous and very time consuming. Which brings me to my next point. It's much easier to tokenize the assets in your private company. It doesn't matter how big it is, than it is to go public on a public stock exchange, at least here in the US, and I think probably globally. Much easier. And by the way, anyone in the world can buy that security token as long as they've signed up for that exchange. Or, you can do wallet to wallet, not recommended, but you could send a security token from a wallet to a wallet, but there's some reporting requirements that are needed. You have to be very careful with that. But it's global now. There's not just US citizens that can buy your stock. Now you're on a global market. It's also way less expensive. So you got liquidity, it's less expensive, and it's much easier than an IPO. And again, as I said before, you can also dual list it. If you want to take it public, you can do that as well. And my favorite part is the sky's the limit on creativity. I mean, you can literally give out special bonuses to token holders. They could get automatic passes to things. They can get product discounts. If you can think it, as long as it can be programmed in a smart contract, you can offer it to your token holders like that. How simple is that? You don't have to advertise. You don't have to even know who they are. You just push it through the smart contract for them to execute on whenever they want. Okay, now I'm very excited about security tokens, but there are some issues, right? There's some potential issues, I should say. One is, okay, let's say you're a company that nobody knows about, Space T. If you are known and you list on an exchange so nobody knows about you, well, there's no volume there, right? So even if you want to sell your tokens, if there's no one there to buy them, then the price will go down or you just won't have a way of selling it. So you're kind of stuck in that whole private situation anyway. However, if you have a community or you've got a bunch of analysts that are covering you, or you've developed a PR program, you can turn that into a situation where there's plenty of volume. And in later videos, I'll talk about some of the security tokens with a ton of volume. But there's always solutions to that. You could hire a market maker to provide that liquidity and to kind of boost that awareness, at least among the investment community. So there are ways of getting around it. But the best case scenario is you're already well known, at least to your customers or the press or people in your industry, and they're very interested in getting involved in what you're doing at your organization. Okay, so just to recap, far easier to take your company, tokenize the equity, even the profits, as in our Space T example, and take it public, so to speak. And it's all legal. This isn't a typical crypto offering. This is a security token that follows the laws of the SEC in the United States. Not hard to do, as long as you're following the templatized approach that we help you with. And that, I think, almost any private company that's doing well or potentially doing well, or even a company that hasn't even started yet that wants to raise money, should do a security token offering. And if you have any questions about whether you should or not, just call us at the number below or visit our website, smartblocks.agency. It's listed right here. And just find out for yourself. Free conversation. We'll be able to tell you in a few minutes if this is something that you should take a look at or get started immediately. All right? There's your security token how-to offering.